This video will be going over Google Sheets, Lesson 3, where I'll show you how to do column widths and row heights, inserting rows and columns, deleting cells, rows, columns, clearing data in cells, applying formatting to cells, which includes things like borders and shading, size, fonts, bold, italicized, those sort of things, aligning data within the cells, repeating your last action, using the format paint roller, and then how to hide and unhide rows and columns. And this is all towards our learning objectives from our syllabus. Number 2, students will work with Google Sheets to gain proficiency through various projects. And number 5, students will learn to input and sort data, create charts and graphs, and use this data to predict future trends. The standard we're addressing is Montana Technology Content Standard 4. Alright, I've got this spreadsheet with some raw data from the 2010-11 LA Lakers in it, just to show you how to do the activities we talked about. So first, column widths. There's a couple of things you can do. First, you can just hover over in between two of columns, click, and drag a width to a specific size. Click, drag, and then let go of the click when it's where you want it. Or you can right-click on the column heading and resize that column to whatever specific number you're looking for. Or you can click and hold Shift, select multiple columns, and then resize all of them together. That's also an option, so that they can all be the same, look uniform. Basically the same thing with rows. You can either click and drag in between to move, or you can resize the row by right-clicking on that number for the row. There's one other thing that's worth mentioning, and you can best fit by double-clicking between the two columns, which made it fit the longest piece of data there. So best fit's kind of a cool option. Inserting rows and columns. Say I wanted to add a row or a column in between A and B, I could right-click on column B and insert one to the left. And it puts a column here. So if I wanted one on the right of column B between B and C, I can insert one to the right. That's also an option. The same sort of thing with rows. I can insert one above or one below. I can also delete a row or clear a row by right-clicking on it. The difference is if I delete the row with Pau Gasol, it's totally gone. There's not even a blank space. I'm going to undo that. But if I choose to clear the row, it just takes the data out of it but leaves a blank space there. So clearing and deleting are not the same thing. And you can do the same thing with an entire column, delete column or clear column. In cells, say you decided to delete the cells, you can shift them left or shift them up, which if I shifted up, all of the data from those cells is now gone and everything that was below them has shifted up, which made it, the link that was with the jersey number to the person is now totally gone and it's messed up. So you really want to be careful when you're deleting rather than just clearing. Let's see. We'll go ahead and delete this. Oops, undo. I think we have a row here that we don't need anymore. We'll delete a column. We'll delete that one. Okay, applying formatting to cells. Say I wanted borders. Let me around this whole roster to make it look a little bit different. Here's the borders icon. You can select what color you want that. And since this is Lakers, I'm going to go with Laker purple. And I'm going to make my line a little bit more bold, and I'm just going to put it around the edge. And now say I wanted to do the inside lines too. I could come back over here. I could choose a Laker gold, and I could choose something that's a little less bold and just do these inner borders. And now I have yellow on the middle. That would be borders. You know, you can choose top or side, or if you want to clear them, you can choose this one. Now I'm going to show you shading. So say I wanted there to be a light purple up there. I could select this area and then just choose the color I wanted inside, and I could choose to keep pouring that, or I could even click and drag through there, hold the control key to have a selection that is not adjacent. So I could actually hold and let go of the control after I have it all highlighted and pour every other line in purple. That's kind of fun. The size of the font. If you select an area, then you can come up here and choose a different size. 14 is pretty large, maybe 12. And you can choose a different type of font if you wanted to. The default is going to be Arial, but you could change it if you wanted to something kind of fun. Okay. And of course your bold, italic. There's also an option for strike through here. I'm going to leave it bold. And let's see, aligning the data within the cells. You have choices when it comes to the horizontal alignment. It starts at right aligned, but you could choose to center it in the cells, or even go right alignment rather than the left. Over here, I'm going to go to center. I think that looks nice. You also have vertical alignment choices, which if I increase the height of this, will show up better. It starts out at bottom alignment, but you could choose to put it in the middle of the cell or the top of the cell. You could also wrap the text, which let's just see. Jersey number is a lot of text to fit in one small cell if I change the column width. So if I choose to wrap it, then it will put it on top of each other in this one cell. Another option is to actually rotate your text. I like to put it tilted up. I think that's one way it looks nice. I'm going to unwrap Jersey number now. I think it looks kind of cool to tilt the text. And that actually allows you to make your columns a little less wide for things like numbers and positions. And maybe you want to horizontally align all of that data. That looks a lot nicer. There's just a lot of formatting that you can choose to do to make things look really nice. The repeat last action can be another thing that's super useful. So say I decided I didn't really like the purple. I want to pour this gold. I could select this next area and hit the button F4, which is right above your number 4 and number 5 keys. The F4 does repeat last action. Another thing I could do is I could say, I want everything to look like I just made Jordan Farmar. I increased the font size a little and made it bold. Okay, so now I'm going to hit this paint format tool on Jordan Farmar, and then I'm going to select Andrew Bynum, and it's going to change that whole area I selected to paint the format just as it was for Jordan. And I'm going to do the same thing for Derek. And hit that paint roller, and I'm going to do the same thing for Powell. So that format painter, if you get something just the way you want it, you can easily use that to paint that formatting somewhere else. Last thing I wanted to show you was how to unhide and hide rows. So say I didn't want to see all of these people in the roster. I could select all of those rows, I could right click, and I could hide them. And then all of a sudden you don't see them. If you're showing someone some specific data, you can hide a whole bunch of rows you don't need to see. They're still there. We didn't delete them. In fact, if you select the area around them, right click and hit unhide, they'll be right back. And you can do the same thing with columns. You can right click and hide a column. Maybe you needed to take a screenshot and show someone without having them see sensitive information. Then you can come back later and you can unhide that column when you want to be able to see that data again. So that is what I wanted to show you for lesson 3 of Google Sheets. Enjoy this week's assignments.